Okay, so over the past few days, we've been doing a little work around what we can do to prepare ourselves for certain types of text that we read on the STAR test. And as we were talking a little bit earlier, this one on the benchmark kind of gave us some trouble, right? This is a persuasive article. And just like, and it looks like a letter, but in this case, it's persuasion because we figured out that the writer was trying to get their audience to do something. So just like in poetry or fiction or nonfiction, we can prepare our minds for what's about to happen in the text before us on a standardized test. The same holds true for a persuasion text. So today I'm going to teach you how we can prepare our minds to read a persuasive text on a standardized test. So and it's persuasion is one of those things that you don't realize by just glancing at it that it's persuasion. So that's the first thing that you need to do in order to prepare your mind to read it, is to identify whether or not it is persuasive. So I'm going to read this text and I'm going to show you how you can determine the reason for or if it's persuasion or not. So I notice up here, because good readers do not skip anything in the text. They pay attention to graphics, and in this case, it looks like it's an email. And it was to Alexis, Javon, and Lucas, and it was sent in September, and it's from Jalissa. And the subject is a No Boundaries project. So I know it's about a project that they're all working together on. Hi, team. I'm really excited about participating in the No Boundaries competition sponsored by USA Today and the National Aeronautics and Space Administration, or NASA. However, I'm having serious misgivings about the type of project we agreed to submit. So in the back of my mind right here, I'm thinking, she's identifying a problem. I'm just going to kind of do this. And you can mark this however you want to, right? I know everyone decided to write a song, but now that I've had time to think about it, I'm beginning to doubt the wisdom of that decision. I think we should create a website instead. Okay, here we go. I think we should create a website instead. That lets me know that she knows we've got a problem here, right? But here's what I think I should do. Here's what I think we should do. So she's kind of, she's identified her position. And in this purpose, and in this, and in this case, she's identified her position. And we know now this is the purpose, right? Writing a song would be fun, especially for Javon since he plays an instrument and sings. But I sing about as well as a cat barks, and I'd like to contribute to this project too. We have a lot of talent in our group, but by creating only a song, we would be limiting ourselves. We have the best team in our class. Shouldn't we produce a project that makes better use of our talents? Okay, so I'm also noticing here that she's probably about to answer this question, and that's a way that she's going to get them to do what she wants as well. So far in this article, right, and we always ask ourselves as readers, what am I reading and why did they write this? But in persuasion, again, they typically state a problem and then they identify their position. So be on the lookout for that. I know to be on the lookout for that when I'm reading persuasion. So now that I know there's a problem and there's an identified position, I'm going to go through this text and I'm going to use a road mapping strategy, which means I'm not necessarily writing out to the side here what this paragraph is about, although you can do that. I'm going to be jotting out to the side here the purpose of the paragraph or what is happening in the paragraph. The reason that this is helpful in persuasion is because you can bet your entire bank account on the fact that they are going to ask you how the author of the text convinced her audience to do something. So if we pay attention to the purpose of the paragraphs or what is happening in the paragraphs, we will be able to be successful on those type of questions. So we're not only reading for meaning, but we're also looking at what was happening in the paragraphs and how they were structured or their purpose. So I'm going to read a little bit further here, and I'm going to label out to the side what's happening. I want you to be thinking about that as well. After Miss Yancey explained our assignment in class, I still had a lot of questions about the No Boundaries competition. I went to the competition's official website and learned that the goal of our project is to make careers in science, technology, engineering, and math at NASA seem appealing to students. Even though everybody knows that astronauts work for NASA and travel into space, no one ever really talks about the thousands of others who work to get the astronauts into space. For example, there are aerospace engineers who design the spacecraft, telemetry engineers who are involved in sending commands to the spacecraft and receiving information from the spacecraft, computer engineers who make computers and robots, and astronomers who are learning about the universe. So here, it seems to me that she is giving background on purpose of assignment and just general info. So she's giving background, right? Our team is supposed to choose one career and research it. We will need to report information on each aspect of that career, from the educational requirements to the daily responsibilities. Okay, blah, 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 blah. I've read this before, right? I think creating a website would be a perfect way to present what we have learned. She, again, is explaining requirements. For assignment. Okay, notice I did not reword what's happening in the paragraph. Road mapping is kind of just giving us a map or explaining to us what's taking place in these paragraphs. I'm going to share this next one with you. And then I want you to turn and talk about the purpose, and I'm going to put these two paragraphs together. I want you to think about how you would label these two paragraphs, okay? If we want to win the No Boundaries competition, we also need to pay attention to the judging, which encompasses content, creativity, presentation, and spelling and grammar. Judges will base 50% of the points on content, which means that each of us must do thorough research to find accurate and complete information. I've been working on the school newspaper all year, so I've learned how to do good research. I'm also able to present complex information in a way that makes it easy to understand. Take a look at the graph below to see what I mean. Okay, I want you now to think about what I just read. You can review it if you want, and then I want you to turn and talk with a partner and figure out how you would label or road map this part of the text. You're not summarizing, you're not rewording, you are road mapping this part of the text. Go.
I think she's leaving. So she should be good.
Okay, so I'm going to bring us back together. I heard very clearly on this side of the room that she was, let's see, Daniel, how did you say it? She's explaining, okay, so she was explaining, y'all help me out here, maybe criteria. Oh, look, they used that word in the graphic, didn't they? Yep. So explaining criteria for success and then a plan. Okay. So in reading a persuasive text, remember, you're needing to find the problem and then the position of the person writing the paper, right? Okay, there's a problem, and then they think a certain way, and then what is it that they want their audience of that text to do? A way that you can go about being successful on a persuasive text in a standardized test is to use the road mapping strategy that we've used in other texts as well, but it's specifically helpful in this one. Okay, so as you move through today, you can practice road mapping in any of your genres, really, but if you should come across a persuasive text, these are one of those things that you're really going to want to try out. And don't forget as well that you're identifying the problem and then figuring out what the author wants the audience of the text piece to do. All right, good luck.